Hey everybody, Mike here again with another Apple review. Today is a great day. My 49ers beat the Vikings. We are one game away from the Super Bowl, and what better way to celebrate than to review an apple? And today I have a very special treat for you. It is my favorite apple. This is the Envy apple. Now, I've only had one of these before in the past, and it was good enough for me to like, yep, this is my favorite. My favorite before then was the Jazz apple, but I had one of these Envy apples about 2 months ago, and yeah, as soon as I was eating, I was like, yep, this is my favorite. It's actually the apple that inspired me to create this channel. I was telling my wife all about like, oh man, that apple had thin skin, it was so juicy, and blah blah blah, and she's like, you need to like make a blog or something. And I was like, you know what, this is a good idea. So we're here. We're gonna do a review on the Envy apple, what I believe in my head to be my favorite apple. Although I've had a lot of different apples since the last time I had one of these, so maybe my review will change. I'm not sure. So a little bit about this apple. It was like cultivated and like genetically engineered out of New Zealand. It is a hybrid between the Royal Gala and the Braeburn apple. And here in the U.S., most of them are grown in Washington State. From what I remember about this apple, it's got the thin skin that I like. Very sweet apple. Crispness, like really crisp. And then what I remember the most was really juicy. I remember describing it as like, despite having like, it was crisp, it broke off, had that crack that I like, but then as I'm chewing it, it just broke down really quickly. And it almost felt like you were drinking an apple more so than like eating an apple. Like once you started chewing, it was just like, so yeah, so that's the Envy apple. Once again, up until this moment, my perceived favorite, but I'm curious how it compares to some of the new apples I've tried since starting this channel, like the Cosmic Crisp, the Sweet Tango, and things like that. So we'll give it a bite. We'll go for a second bite where I get my good crack. Let's see what happens. Right off the bat, usually I don't comment until the second crack or the second bite, because the first bite's just like opening up. Second bite's where I get my good like. Um, this is a way tougher apple than like any of the other apples I've had so far on the show. I barely got a good bite in on that first bite. And now I'm starting to wonder if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Compared to like, I'm really like comparing it to the Cosmic Crisp right now. So that was like a tough bite to get through. I didn't make a whole lot of progress. All right, so not as crisp as the Cosmic Crisp. It's not. Mm. But it is so juicy. So the Cosmic Crisp, when you bite it, it'll just snap off, crack off. And this apple is, it's man, how to describe this? It doesn't crack off. It's got the you have to bite through it, kind of like maybe like a gala. Like you have to. It's not gonna snap. You have to bite through it and complete your bite. It's not gonna break off. But it's denser. Like I don't know any other way to describe it. It's denser. Like it's a good bite. It's not a mushy bite. It's like biting through something. And so juicy, really juicy apple. I again, it feels like I'm drinking this apple more than I'm like actually eating it. Mm. Really, really sweet. This is a really good apple. This is, I think the Envy apple is what the Red Delicious wishes it could be. Because, I mean, it's red and delicious. Just bursting with flavor, bursting with juice. Mm. All right. So as always, I'm going to review this apple on crispness, sweetness, and kind of a review on the skin. And I need to look back at my past reviews recently. All right, so sweetness. I've got to give this an apple a 9 out of 10. This is above the Cosmic Crisp. It's above the Sweet Tango. I also feel like I might be kind of like impressing upon a little bit, like imbibing some juiciness into that sweetness category there, but there's no tartness that's swinging it. You know what? No, this is a 10 out of 10. This is the sweetest apple. It's almost like eating cotton candy. Like, this is a 10 out of 10 on sweetness. So, yeah. Envy apple, 10 out of 10 on sweetness. Crispness. It is it's less crisp than the Cosmic Crisp. I'll give it that. The Cosmic I gave a 9. I think I'm gonna put this right there with the Sweet Tango and give it a 7. So we're gonna go 10 on sweetness, 7 crispness. No. 6 crispness. We're gonna go 6 on crispness. And in terms of the skin, thin skin, doesn't have that chewy, like a thin skin acting like it's thick. Perfectly fine in that regard. So the Envy apple, I still think might be like one of my favorite apples. If I were to go into the store and I saw one sitting there and I was really looking for something to snack on, it'd be a competition between this, the Cosmic Crisp, the Sweet Tango at this point in time. If I felt like I was a little like dehydrated, and the reason I was looking for an apple was like I want that juice quench, that thirst factor, this would by all means be the apple I'm going for. I have never had an apple that is as juicy as an Envy apple. So that's the Envy apple for you all. I'm not sure if I can actually call it my favorite anymore. I think I now have like I've developed a list of favorites dependent upon what I'm looking for in the moment, but it's definitely way high up there. So thanks again for watching. Keep an eye out for my next video where I'm going to be trying out an all new apple I've never had before called the Opal. We were walking through the store. We're like, oh, what are these yellow apples? And I told my wife, oh, I think they're golden delicious. And we looked at the label. They're not. They're opals. And I've never heard of those, never had one. So excited about that review. If you have any comments, suggestions, just go ahead and leave them below. And until next time, thanks.